The dust has settled, the rivalry has ended, the rematch that we needed to see due to a no contest back in October has been finalized. A statement has been put into place by the number 3 ranked Magomed Ankalaev as he picked up a massive second round knockout over Johnny Walker. How did we get to this point, and what can we expect next from Magomed Ankalaev? Unbeaten since 2018 in his UFC debut, now 12 fights into this run, Magomed Ankalaev has so much momentum following his huge knockout win over Johnny Walker in last night's UFC Vegas 84 main event. However, these past couple years have just been so weird. So when you look at that streak and this tear that he is truthfully on, it's been a very kind of just gray area of this run. We go back to December 10th of 2022, where Magomed had finally racked up plenty of wins, had plenty of big-time performances to earn that ever so coveted UFC title shot. He gets that opportunity against Jan Blachowicz, and then what happens? They fight to a draw, which, at that time, the belt was vacant, so it still left us with no light heavyweight champion. What do we do from there? We wait almost a year until he gets back into the octagon in October of 2023 to fight Johnny Walker. Johnny Walker coming in on a tear himself at that one point, on a win streak, looking to really put together the greatest run of his career and finally put himself into title contention. Great fight on paper, on a massive card. We get a no contest that last 3 minutes before an illegal knee to a downed opponent. Magomed issued that to Johnny Walker, ended the fight. They got into a weird scrap afterward. Johnny Walker wanted to keep fighting. The refs were in there, the judges, everybody in the world was in that octagon trying to keep them apart from one another. It felt inevitable. We would obviously get it ran back. Maybe it wouldn't feel to most people as important as it did in October, but to be honest with you, here we are now, the first event of 2024, and I've seen more people in the aftermath talk about, oh, Magomed Ankalaev has to be next for the title, yada, yada, yada. To me, going in, that's how I felt, truthfully. This was a very important fight. This, at the end of the day, was number 3 in the world at 205 pounds versus number 7 in the world at 205 pounds. You have a sitting undisputed champion in Alex Pereira looking for his next opponent, seemingly because Jamal Hill is still recovering from an Achilles injury, an injury that we do not see very often in the fight game. We don't know what a return table or a timeline is for Jamal Hill right now. He was in the audience last night watching, and this was probably a big fight for him to see as well, because he is someone who has knocked out Johnny Walker in the past, who hasn't yet fought Magomed Ankalaev. So for him to be there, I felt added a little bit more stake to it than going in what it was advertised as. And I think what we got was a good fight for the amount of time that we got to see it. Johnny Walker looked very good the first half of the first round, was landing clean, throwing a bunch of wild strikes, axe kicks, question mark kicks, spinning back fists, typical Johnny Walker fashion, while still being this kind of newer version of himself, more reserved, more composed. Magomed began to have more success as that first round came to a close, and then the second round was all Magomed en route to the big knockout, 2 minutes and 42 seconds in to the second round. And all of that being said, I think it leaves us in a good spot for the 205-pound division, and I'm going to paint the picture right now at light heavyweight. I believe that we now have the second title fight for UFC 300. We have Zhang Weili and Yan Xiaonan as the first confirmed fight for gold at the milestone event, and now give me Alex Pereira, the champion, versus number 3 ranked Magomed Ankalaev. You pair that with the number 2 ranked and former champion Yuri Prohaska welcoming back number 5 ranked Alexander Rakic from his return, which is happening that very same night. That takes care of 4 of the top 6 fighters in the division, counting the champion, obviously. All that's left out is an injured Jan Blachowicz, who was originally scheduled to face Rakic next week at UFC 297. That fight fell through due to a Blachowicz injury. And the only other person on the outside looking in with no fight is the other former champion, Jamal Hill, who is recovering from injury. So for me, it seems relatively simple. You do the title fight, Pereira versus Ankalaev. Jamal Hill can return later on in the year, maybe the summer or fall, from his injury, assuming that would be around the timeline for him to face the winner of that title fight at UFC 300. And then after that, you can have the winner of Prohaska versus Rakic fight at the very end of the year or beginning of 2024. And if they don't want to wait that long, I'd say the winner of Yuri versus Rakic can fight Jan Blachowicz when he's ready to come back at the end of the year from his injury. I think that's how you play all of the cards right now at 205 pounds. I think it pretty much resolves any bit of murkiness in the division. I think it sets up a lot of clarity, at least on paper. I know it's easier said than done, but if I'm a matchmaker in the war room at the UFC headquarters, that is how I would allow the 205-pound division to play out for the remainder of 2024. So let me know in the comments below, do you agree with this kind of plan for the rest of the year for the light heavyweight division? I suppose the only caveat would be that if Jamal Hill isn't actually ready for the summer or fall to fight the winner of Pereira versus Ankalaev at UFC 300, then he can just wait out until the end of the year if that's what he needs for his injury to recover or to heal, and then you would just do the winner of Prohaska versus Rakic instead. So it's all interchangeable, therefore making it to me very easy. And I would like to think you guys would agree, but if you don't, please let me know. I'd be curious to know what you think should be next for the light heavyweight division. If you have a different plan, let me know. Start a discussion in the comments. Drop a like on this video if you enjoyed it. Again, subscribe to the channel if you are new so you never miss fight breakdowns and recaps such as these, betting discussions moving forward, MMA news, fight announcements, and everything in between. I hope you guys enjoyed the fights this weekend. I hope you have a great week, and let's get ready for the first pay-per-view of the year, UFC 297, 2 title fights, Sean Strickland versus Dricus du Plessis at middleweight, and the vacant women's bantamweight title will get a home, either Raquel Pennington or Mayra Bueno Silva. See you all later in the week for the previews.